I'm Michaela. Welcome back to my channel. Today is going to be a very exciting video. I asked on my Instagram yesterday whether I should film a Q&A or an embarrassing plant stories or plant related embarrassing stories video while I was repotting, and embarrassing plant stories won by a landslide. So I'm going to just swallow my pride and lay it all out there for you. And I don't know if I come across in these videos as awkwardly as I do in my day-to-day life, but this should clear any doubt that you may have had up as to whether or not I am incredibly awkward. So I think I'm trying to decide what order I want to go in. I think I will start from least embarrassing to most embarrassing, just to ease myself into it. And yeah, we'll just get started. Okay, so I've got my little folding table here in my plant room. I thought this was going to be a really great system, but it is pretty tiny, so we'll see how it goes. I'll show you what I'm going to be repotting. Okay, so I'm just going to start with this Syngonium Pink Splash, and it's in Fluval right now. Okay, so I'm just going to put it in this yogurt container. Okay, so about, it's gonna be loud. Okay, so this past year in like October, I think, we had to switch our internet so we switched from AT&T to CenturyLink, and when they were setting things up, they had to move where like the router was, and it was not where I was expecting them to put it, but they had to put it in that location. So anyway, the guy gets to our house and he's like telling me where we need to put it and stuff, and he starts looking around my living room, and I'll put up a clip of what my living room looks like in case you don't know. He's like, wow, you have a lot of plants. So I said, thank you. I don't know if it was a compliment or not, but anyway, so where he needed to put the router and like make a hole in the wall to feed the cord through is like right behind my Fabricor. So he's like looking at this case with like the key in it, so it looks like I just have all these plants locked up in my house. Like, it probably looks weird if you're not a plant person, so I get it. So he's like looking at that and he's like, oh wow, she's pretty crazy, which, you know, I guess I can't really argue with. So he's like working in there, and he also came like 2 hours earlier than I was expecting him to. So I was doing some major plant chores in my kitchen at the time. So I had just like plant stuff everywhere. So I was in the kitchen, he was in the living room hooking stuff up, and then I hear, I don't know, he was like making a sound. He's like, oh no. So then he like kind of slowly comes to the little doorway between the living room and the kitchen. He's like, hey, I think I may have made some of these plant lights go out or something. Is it possible for us to move this cabinet? So I was like, oh, you want me to move the Fabricor? Like everybody just knows what IKEA furniture is called. I don't know. It's kind of hard to talk and do something at the same time for me. So anyway, he's like, yeah, let's see if we can move the Fabricor. So I got the Fabricor moved, and I think he thought it was pretty weird how many plants that I had, which is fine, you know. It doesn't matter what people think of my plants. And then a couple of weeks later, or no, I think it was a couple months later, the router broke and he had to come back and we had to move the fabric core again, and it was kind of embarrassing. So that's my least embarrassing story. Okay, here's my Syngonium Pink Splash in soil now. And I have my repotting mat set up on the floor down here. So it's too big to put on this table, so I'm just using this paper tray. Okay, so the next one is significantly more embarrassing. So here is the next plant. It's my Philodendron Hederaceum variegated. Okay, so the next one, this was probably late fall 2020. So this was like peak houseplant boom, and like people were really into hunting down plants, myself included. So I heard about this nursery, and if you're from the area, you'll probably know this one. It's the Flower Farm in Gardner, Kansas. So I just kept hearing like, oh, they have all this cool stuff and it's such great prices. So I convinced my husband to go there with me on a Saturday. For some reason I remember what I was wearing. That doesn't have anything to do with the story. But anyway, we went there and it was like going into another world. There's all these plants there that I had never seen in person, and they were all really reasonably priced too. So I was just like, it was like a high to see all these plants. So I got a few philodendrons, and I don't remember what it was that I got. I remember I was just like over the moon though. I think it may have been like a painted lady. I think that is what it was. I don't remember, but I remember being incredibly excited. So as we're leaving, we're headed back toward Kansas City, and my husband's driving. We took my car. My car's name's Ruby, and I'll just say she's a very peppy little car. She likes to go fast. I love my car, so yeah. Also, I would be interested to know, do any of you name your cars? Yeah, Ruby, she's a peppy little gal. We had just merged onto the highway. We were just kind of doing our thing, didn't really like think about anything, and all of a sudden we see flashing lights behind us and get pulled over by an unmarked car. So we didn't know that we had like passed a cop or anything, because it just looked like a regular black SUV. And so Samuel pulls over, and the officer is like talking to him, and he's like, do you know why I pulled you over? And he's like, no, like we didn't think we were speeding. It didn't seem out of the ordinary. But then the officer says, oh, I clocked you going like 89, which I still am unsure about. I don't know that we were going that fast. But anyway, so Samuel's like, oh, what? Like, I don't think we were going that fast. We were just keeping up with traffic. And then the guy says, do you normally keep up with traffic by going around everyone? So, you know, there's that. And then he's like, oh, I am really sorry, officer. I'm not used to driving this car. I'm used to my truck. This is my wife's car. And then he's like, oh, yeah, okay, you know. And then he's like, where are you guys coming from today? And he was like, oh, we were just at the flower farm over in Gardner. My wife really loves houseplants. She's got like 100 plants in our little old house. So then for some reason, I took that as my cue to like get the fucking plants and like show the officer the philodendrons that I bought. I don't know why. I was just like, so that was pretty weird. And I think that may have actually been what got us out of the ticket though, because he was probably just like, oh, this poor man, he has been through enough. Like, he had to take this absolute nutcase to the nursery today and he's been through enough. So yeah, honestly, I don't think we were going that fast, just because like we weren't like, I don't know. I really don't think that we were going that fast, but you know, but yeah, didn't get a ticket, and I don't know that the officer was very impressed with my philodendrons, but you know, that's fine. We all have our thing. Okay, I haven't gotten through that many plants yet. Okay, so this next one, it's definitely the most embarrassing. It's definitely the most embarrassing. So I may just like silently repot a plant to curb my embarrassment and just prepare myself. It's hard for me to talk and do things at the same time. Alright, so next we will repot this Philodendron Glorious. Okay. Alright, I don't know if this is the most embarrassing one or not. I don't know if anyone else will think this is embarrassing or not, but like, I definitely do. Like, I don't even want to... Okay, so at my old job, it was an interior design office in the area I live in. And I hope that nobody who is involved with this ever sees this video. But if you do, please never say anything to me about it. Okay, so I'm at work and it's a Friday morning and I was in charge of taking care of all the plants at this office. And there weren't a lot, there were like 4 or 5. And there's one plant, oh shoot. That is why I put the repotting mat on the floor. So there's one plant there that I felt very attached to. He was a fiddle leaf fig that I named Gary. I don't really know why I named him Gary. He just seemed like a Gary, you know? So I loved this plant, and I was pretty particular about the plant care, and I didn't really like people messing with Gary and stuff, just because I'll put a picture of him on the screen. I'm pretty sure I still have one. And I don't work at this place anymore. Yeah. So, okay. I don't even remember when this was for some reason. Like, my construct of time the entire time I was working there is just like really weird. And I couldn't even tell you, like, I can remember specific days and specific memories of working there. Oh, here's my plant. And I worked there for about 3 years, but for some reason I could not tell you when this happened. I don't know. It could have happened in like 2019. It may have been 2021. I really don't know. So, I was kind of like the intern person. I just did kind of like all sorts of different things there, just kind of like whatever needed to be done, I would be the one doing it. So I never really knew what my day was gonna look like there going in. So, but I did know Friday morning is when I would take care of all the plants. So, and everyone else this particular Friday morning was leaving to go to a job site. So everybody got around and left. I was working at a computer, just kind of like looking at emails and like coming up with my list that I needed to do that day. And after everyone had left, I was like, I'm an introvert. I love being alone. So it was just like kind of like an exhale for me. And also like everybody was running around. It was kind of just like a lot going on, and it just instantly calmed down. And right around this time, there had been like a lot of computer issues going on. So I did not know that there were IT people still in the building working on computers. So because there's like a partition, it is the weirdest building in the world. There's like all these partitions. It used to be like a kitchen showroom, so there's water lines like everywhere. It's just the weirdest building. So there's like half a wall in the middle of the office pretty much, and I'm at this computer that's in like a corner behind here, and then on the other side of the wall there's another computer. So and then Gary sat like right by this wall, so it kind of like blocked my view. So everybody left to go to the job site, and then I was going to start taking care of all the plants at this point. So I get up and Gary's there, and it's still morning. So I start talking to Gary, which is not unusual. Like, that's what I do. So, and I don't know why this is what I chose to say that day. Like, this is not even something that I normally say. Like, it's just so, oh, this is so weird. I don't know why I say the things that I say sometimes. Like, I've said this to so many people. I don't pretend to understand what goes on in my own mind. I'm just as surprised as anyone by the things that happen here. So anyway, I say to Gary, what did I say? I said something along the line. I know I said, hey, handsome. And then I said something along the lines of like, oh, we're finally alone. Or I think that is what I said. I said, hey, handsome, looks like we're finally alone. What? Why? I've never, if you've ever felt the need to say something like that to a fiddly fig, you know, you're not alone. So I pick, and also the other weird thing was this had to have been earlier in my plant journey, because I was picking this massive tree up. He's in like a 12-inch pot and like 4 feet tall, but I was picking him up and taking him to the sink in the back of the office to water him. So I picked him up, I'm carrying him to the back, and right about that time, I walk by this individual working on the computer, and I see that his face is extremely red, which would indicate that he thought that I was talking to him, which filled me with I was just mortified at that point. So the only thing to be said was, oh, I was talking to Gary, and like I say this as I'm holding a tree, and he's like, oh, okay. I was like, so yeah. That's the most embarrassing thing I think I've ever done. Maybe. I don't know. Yeah, it was pretty embarrassing. At least I explained myself, and like he didn't think I was like harassing him or something, because that was not what I was doing. Like, if anything, I was harassing the plant. I don't know. I don't know if that's better. But, you know, it is what it is. It's over now. I haven't been sued, and yeah, I will probably never speak that way to a plant again. Hopefully. Like, why did I do that? It's hilarious now, honestly. And if you are someone who worked in that office, just never say anything about it to me or anyone else. I don't think that the people who were in charge there knew about it. I mean, it doesn't matter now. I don't work there anymore, but it was really embarrassing. So anyway, yeah, I just kind of went about my business. I took care of the rest of the plants, and then there was like an upstairs storage area that I spent like honestly years going through just like a ton of stuff that had been stored there for just, I don't know, honestly probably my entire lifetime at least. So I just, you know, stayed away from this individual because I was so embarrassed, and I'm sure he was too. And yeah, just, you know, be careful talking to plants that way because there may be people around. So yeah, pretty embarrassing. I don't know, maybe other people wouldn't think that's embarrassing. Maybe you would. Maybe, I don't know, maybe I'm not embarrassed enough about it. I don't know. I can laugh about it now. It's hilarious. So yeah, I think it would be fun to make this like a series. So if you have any embarrassing plant stories, I would love to hear them, and maybe I'll make another video where I'm attempting to repot things as I talk about embarrassing plant stories. And I can like include your name or not, so it can be completely anonymous. Like, it doesn't have to be like, you don't have to assign your name to it. So if you have an embarrassing plant story, please DM me on Instagram, and hopefully I will get enough that I can make more of these videos. Yeah, so if you liked this video, please like and subscribe and leave me a comment, and follow me on Instagram at Queen City Tropicals, and I will see you again soon.